chose to do a chill video because I am trying to finish my second Skillshare class, and whenever I'm tackling a larger side project like that on top of my regular work, it sort of requires a different mindset, and so I think I was not fully present for this sketchbook session. My thoughts were like semi-occupied with the beautiful watercolor wolf that I'm going to be teaching in that class, but I still wanted to get back to portraits, and I had a break for about 2 weeks from portraits because I was also finishing a series of illustrations for a book, and only one of those was a portrait. I was sort of sketching and painting different things like objects. I'm gonna share those illustrations with you. I think that is why the sketch turned out not so great, but in the end, with a nice color combination and loose approach, I was able to do something that I'm not too embarrassed to publish. And besides, you guys really seem to enjoy the loose watercolor approach. That's what I'm going to be featuring in this video. It was done quickly. Watercolor often turns its best when you just don't have time for it. That might sound weird, but what I mean is that when you have a very strict window of time to do your watercolor painting, then you won't be doing so many repairs. And when you let the wet washes rest without touching them too much, then the way they dry and the way those colors sometimes like merge together is sometimes it's just so beautiful that I could never do something like that intentionally, and that's what fascinates me about watercolor. It's like every sketch in a way is an adventure. You can't quite know what is coming, even though you know your process, but you are still surprised in the end, and that doesn't really happen with a lot of other techniques that I know. For me, this is fun. So there's the drawing, and here's where the painting part starts. I'm, by the way, using my Strathmore Watercolor 400 series journal or a sketchbook. I am only 5 pages left on that sketchbook, and so I'm really highly motivated to paint in it because I want to do a sketchbook tour, and it's going to be my first sketchbook that I fully finished. I bought it myself. You saw what the paper actually can handle despite of being a pulp paper, not a cotton paper. It takes my erasings very well because I made it a rule that I'm never going to trace my sketches to the sketchbook because they are sketches, they are not finished pieces, so I don't prefer to do that. I just want to experiment as much as possible in it. I don't even care if those pieces turn out fine because the point is to finish it. That's the goal. I get a lot of comments after every video asking me about the papers and colors and brushes and everything, and while I really do love your comments, you can always just check the description. There are not only all the listed materials that I use, but also links. Take a peek if you are really looking for something specific and you think that what I'm using in the video will be the thing that you need to do your practice better, then just check my description. I try to list all my supplies there so that you have an easier way of finding stuff when I'm not around and can't reply right away or something. But other than the sketchbook, I used a combo of greens and orangey reds, and I just love this color combination. I also needed something dark for her hair, and this time I opted out for Bloodstone Genuine. It is a darker but warmer color, and it also granulates. It might not be your first choice to use in a portrait, but I just like how it looks. I already used it when we did the first page of the Koval sketchbook here on YouTube in real time. I will link that video down below for you in case that you missed. You can paint that in real time for free here on YouTube with me. And also, if you wanted to do more real-time videos with me, then you can become a patron. And every single patron of mine is contributing to this YouTube channel in a very large scale, so many thanks. I'm actually going to be doing some changes to my Patreon that will help make it a more efficient community, that will help you learn watercolor with me. My Patreon is supposed to be like the extension of YouTube always, so there is like more information. The process is always in real time. Finally, I'm able to post there more frequently because I now have help with the video editing, and that's actually a huge workload. But that's good news for you because while I used to be uploading like one or two real-time tutorials per month. Now it's about 5, and even more drawing tutorials are going to be added soon, so I'm excited. Up until now it was really difficult for me, but we have 110 people there, and that's just amazing. You are not just like silent, you give me comments, you give me pointers, you share your works that you painted alongside the real-time tutorials with me, and it's just, I love you guys. Undoubtedly, the best part of the entire process is this wet in wet layer, when I tried to do the blurry kind of bouquet in front of her face and also like merge it with the background. It is so much fun to paint this way, but you have to pay attention to certain things, like if you want to keep a hard edge somewhere, then you have to be very deliberate about the silhouette. This goes mostly for the parts of the flowers that are directly in her face. Like, I don't want to have a blurry edge there, because nobody knows how that would end up. So I was being very deliberate to keep that area dry so that I can achieve the hard edge and even influence the silhouette of the flower if I need to with a small brush to indicate that the shape belongs to a flower. The rest, especially in the parts that are away from the face, it can be kind of blurry. There are certain areas that are dry, other areas that are completely damp, and the colors just do whatever they wish in there. And once I placed all the colors where I thought that belonged, kind of let the paint rest, put it by the window to dry, and did something else. And when I came back, the textures were looking really good. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is that this channel is approaching a certain milestone. I will want to do a special video and again some sort of giveaway. Feel free to ask me questions that I would answer in that video. Some of you already asked me about inspiration, some of you how the channel actually grew to this number and how that happened. Some of you were asking about art block and how to practice. Those were all like so interesting questions. Of course that every artist has answers because they have their own experience, so I'd like to share mine. But it's not so easy to talk about these things because I come from a very specific perspective and I'm in the dark about what sort of information would be useful. It's like when you are painting with watercolors, but you know your process, so you have absolutely no idea what other people that just discovered the medium would find helpful or interesting to mention, so that kind of thing. And when you comment on the videos and let me know your thoughts, that is immensely helpful. I also wanted to mention just a little bit about what is coming now, what I'm preparing for. I wanted to do 3 challenges this summer, and the first one I already began and the second one is on my table fully prepared. I'm hoping that this will help me to push my skills to the next level, and I just wanted to document it for you and then share my thoughts on it, maybe give you some tips after I've been through the entire process. Also, I'm going to be doing a studio makeover, which I'm obviously very excited about. Last time we did studio makeover or cleanup, it was 2.5 years ago. There are videos on my channel, of course, from that large cleanup, and the things stayed in their place ever since, but it is definitely time to do not only a cleanup this time, but we'll have to repaint everything. I wanted to buy new stuff from IKEA because the organization system that is here is not great. How it goes with clutter. The more things you have, the harder it is to keep them organized, and some of them you don't even use, and when I don't use anything for a year, then it's time to reconsider whether I need it. I am sensing that there's gonna be a large art supplies giveaway after I'm done with the studio makeover. Anyways, those are all the things that you can look forward to. If you want to subscribe to the channel, if you still didn't, then you will get the notifications once I publish, and I'm publishing a new video like every 3 to 4 days now, so feel free to join. I would also appreciate your thoughts on this painting. I am still like in between two opinions. While I don't like how I drew the girl, I think that could have been done much better. At the same time, I think the colors and the textures of watercolor are just mesmerizing, which I basically have nothing to do with because I only placed the color to the page and those colors just did that by themselves. Just love the abstractions. I love this medium so much. The addition of gouache was optional. I was considering whether to do it or just completely skip it. I don't know about that either. Sometimes I don't have an opinion. I don't know if I like it, if that was better before or after. Maybe it's not necessary to judge my own artwork. I'm glad I did it, and that's all that matters. And with all that, I can't wait to see you in the next video very soon. Have a great day!